Welcome back to the I Don't Want a Divorce podcast, where we give practical, effective, biblical advice to spouses in crisis. If you like my approach and want to help our team have more impact and save more marriages, subscribe to my podcast and to my YouTube channel and leave a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts. This helps us grow our audience and frankly save more marriages and help more spouses in crisis. Now, I'm currently running a contest. Email me to David E. Clarke, PhD, that's Clarke with an E, David E. Clarke, PhD, @gmail.com, your answer to this statement. I stayed with my abusive spouse because, and then fill in the blank. I stayed with my abusive spouse and fill in the blank. I know a number of you have been married to abusive spouses, and I want to know why you stayed as long as you did. And there are reasons for that. I'm trying to help abused spouses get out. And so the more I know about the reasons, the more I can help. I'm getting into the minds of abused spouses and why they stay and tolerate abuse. Of course, the church often promotes this. There are personal reasons from your background, a lot of possibilities. Give me your reasons. In my new book on codependency, which will be released next year, self-published, who needs Christian publishers? Anyway, it'll be my own work, of course, and it'll be released next year. I'm going to shred each and every reason for staying and tolerating abuse and get to a deeper level of helping abused spouses get out. I think it's going to be a powerful book, and I think God's going to use it. Again, it'll be a companion book to my current book on how to get out of an abusive relationship. Enough is enough. How to leave an abusive relationship. This explains why you can get out biblically and exactly how to do it. But I think what I'm going to do, in fact, I know what I'm going to do is write a book if you're really stuck and I just can't seem to get out and I got all these things in my head and I got the church people talking to me, whatever. I'm going to help you work through those reasons so you'll know you have the power to leave. Now, the deadline to send me your email answer is November 2nd. I'm going to choose the top 15 responses, and these winners will get any two of my books for free. We will charge $40 for postage and handling. I'm kidding. The whole thing is free, including postage and handling. I'll email the 15 winners. Since you've emailed me, of course, I have your email address. I'll email the 15 winners just after November 2nd, the deadline, of course, and ask for your address and the two books you want. I'll hand this information to my blonde wife, Sandy, the blonde, and she will go to the post office. That's her department. Why should I have to go to the post office? That's what she does. Okay, today's topic is dating after divorce, how to spot a winner. Last time we talked about the losers. And I begin by answering a question from a podcast and YouTube subscriber. Here's the question. It's a good one. Dave, my Christian counselor says I need to follow this rule of thumb for dating after my divorce. And I've heard this many times, and so have you. And frankly, it's bogus. Well-meaning, but bogus. Here's what the counselor told her. Wait 1 month for every year you were married. Is this right? No, it is not right. That's an arbitrary figure. Simply waiting for a period of time, any period of time, does nothing to prepare you to date again. You could wait 5 years and be no closer to being ready to date. All that matters is doing your divorce recovery work. That's why I wrote, I didn't want a divorce, now what? This is what you need to do. You do this in 3 to 5 months, 6 months, you're ready to date. It's about that simple. So forget that arbitrary designation. Okay, let's look at now the winners you want to date and marry. And frankly, there aren't that many winners out there, but you need to find one. There are many more losers. Okay, I've gone over the characteristics of a loser. That was the previous podcast. Here are the characteristics of a winner. When you find a person who fits the following profile, you can have total confidence to date him and, if God leads you, to marry him. Number 1, he is physically attractive. This is the most important thing, but you got to have this. This may seem like a no-brainer, but I've actually counseled divorced persons who were dating partners for whom they had no physical attraction or not much. I said were because I told them to break up. Some did, some didn't. If they didn't, it's a disaster. Oh, but he's a good person. He's kind. You know what? You got to have the va-va-voom for that person. I am just telling you. The first time I saw the blonde Sandy, boom, lightning struck me right in the head. She was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen in my life, and I still feel that way. That you got to have that. You can't build a relationship on that, of course, but you got to have it. Physical attraction isn't the only factor in choosing a mate, but it has to be on the list. If you don't immediately have physical attraction, I mean, boom, from day one, in fact, second one, walk away. You're not going to develop it later. You either have the chemistry physically or you don't. You know how it is. And I don't talk about this with Sandy, of course, but there are some people that other people would find like really attractive. Boy, that person, look at that lady or that guy. And the lady, it's like me, I say, not really. You have to be focused on your person. They're the most beautiful person in the world. So, if you don't have the va-va-voom for someone, vamoose. And vamoose means, I'm out of here. It's not fair to the other person, actually, either. Number two, he is a godly man. This, of course, is number one on the list. If you've got the chemistry, great. Doesn't mean you're going to marry the person, but it's something important. But he's got to be a godly man. And again, I'm saying he. This could easily be a she if you're a guy and you're looking to date. He has a relationship with Jesus Christ and is growing in that relationship. He attends his own church regularly. He tithed to his church. He has a daily quiet time in which he prays and reads the Bible. Absolutely vital. He also freely shares his spiritual life with you. He prays with you. He has spiritual conversations with you. He talks to you about the victories and struggles in his spiritual life. You're thinking, are you kidding? Is there a guy like this? Yes, there is. God knows who he is. You can find him. He genuinely wants to help you grow in your relationship with Jesus. He doesn't follow you. He leads you spiritually. Are there men that lead? Yes, there are. Find one. He makes sure you to attend church and pray and talk about your spiritual lives. You're thinking, are there any guys like this at all? I mean, a guy that will actually lead me spiritually and be this on fire for Jesus? Yes, find one. Now, if you find a solid, growing Christian man who's not sure how to lead, you can deal with that. But don't marry him until he's proven, and the two of you going through my book, Honey, We Need to Talk, that he can be a spiritual leader. Then you can marry him. He talks to you on a deeper level. This is the third factor in a winner. Physical chemistry is important, but emotional chemistry is critical. This man actually talks to you and shares his emotions and thoughts. He listens to you and has empathy for your emotions and problems. Your conversations are fun and open and lead to deeper levels of emotional intimacy. Marriage is a series of conversations. You got to have somebody who will conversate with you. Most men will have a delay in expressing deeper things. That's fine. But this guy will get back to you and give you the personal information you need to hear. That's fine. I call it riding the train in my book, Men Are Clams, Women Are Crowbars. Having a conversation, the woman sharing deeply and expressing, the guy's listening, reflecting. It'll be a delay, maybe even the next day before he comes up with a response personally, but he does. You want a guy like that. Number 4, he deals directly with conflict. That's a real man. He doesn't enjoy conflict. I mean, who does? But he's man enough to talk through every conflict with you. He listens to you share your point of view without cutting you off, listens to your emotions, and respects them both. He shares his point of view and his emotions in a reasonable adult way. Here's the key, he stays with the conflict conversation until you feel satisfied, not him. He works with you to make a decision and then sticks to that decision. He is willing to compromise. Doesn't have to always be his way. When you want to talk about a difficult, awkward topic, he'll do it every single time. Doesn't want to, but he will. He gets angry. Okay, I get angry. Ask the blonde. But he doesn't lose control. He says, I'm sorry when he does or says something to hurt you. He admits his mistakes and works to correct them. You don't want a guy who, when he blows it and really hurts you, doesn't say he's sorry. Maybe he does something nice for you, or you kind of think, oh, well, that's his way of saying I'm sorry. No, if he can't get the words I'm sorry out of his dumb mouth, don't date him and don't marry him. Number 5, he talks about his past. You want a guy that's open about his past. He's open, he's honest with you about his childhood, his family, his previous romantic relationships, and his previous marriages, or marriage. He tells you in detail about his past and the pain he suffered. This way you can know he's gotten through it. He tells you how others have wounded him. He tells you how he has wounded others, mistakes he has made. All right? In his previous relationships, what mistakes has he made? Of course, he's made them. He tells you what those are and how he's learned and changed. He wants you to meet his family and friends. Don't bother with a guy who's keeping you a secret. He should want to showcase you to his family and friends. He's proud of you. He's willing to read this book. I didn't want a divorce. Now what? read it along with you, and go through all my divorce recovery steps. If he says no to my book, you say no to him. What he's saying is you're not worth it. He's not committed to you. Sandy could have asked me to climb Mount Everest in my shorts, and I would have done it because it was Sandy. I had to have her. He treats his kids well. Number 6, very important if he's got kids. He's a loving father who's crazy about his kids. He works hard to spend time with them and meet their needs. He does not spoil them. When they disobey, he applies reasonable consequences. You don't want a guy who's a Disneyland dad that spoils his kids because he feels bad about the divorce and gives them everything they want. That's a disaster waiting to happen. Of course, he loves them, but he doesn't spoil them. When it's clear that you two are serious and marriage is on the table, he elevates you above his children. You're more important than them. Yes, you are. You're not their mother. It doesn't make a difference. You're more important. You become the most important human person in his life. That's during the dating phase, when you know you're going to get married. Don't wait till after marriage to make that happen. His friends are normal. Look, this is important. The people you hang around tell you a lot about that person. His friends are normal. They're emotionally healthy Christians. There are no alcoholics, drug addicts, emotionally unstable characters in his inner circle. There is no drama in his personal life and relationships. He has a good career. Look, it doesn't have to be super uber successful, but he has a solid job history, a good career, and is a hard worker. Not a workaholic, like David E. Clarke, PhD, who's working on that, by the way, but a hard worker. He has a budget, he spends reasonably, and has money in savings. Look for someone like that. He drives a Porsche. I'm kidding. Of course not. Whatever he drives, he takes care of his vehicle, and he doesn't drive like a maniac. Like Dr. David E. Clarke, who's working on that. Just had a car accident. I think God's talking to me. I'm going to do better. Too late for Sandy. She's married for 39 years. But I'm telling for you, you can know something about a person who, the way they drive. You're driving around. Does he rage? Does he curse? Does he yell at other drivers? Does he cut people off? Don't date a guy like that. When you come to the next red light, hop out of the car, you're done. He's focused on meeting your need. You want a guy that is all about you. Of course, the Lord first and then you second. A big part of love is having a partner who works hard to meet your needs. He identifies your needs and meets them. If he can't meet a need, he'll tell you why. Now, he wants you to be happy and to feel loved. My dad, Bill Clarke, treated my mom, Kathy, like this their whole married life, 62 years. It was about her. He loved her. He met her needs. She wasn't demanding it. He just wanted to do it, and they were very, very happy. You treat a woman like this, and you'll get a ton of things back. So either the man or the woman I'm talking about that you're dating needs to be focused on meeting your needs. If you want to go to a certain restaurant, he'll go. If you want to see a certain movie, he'll watch it with you. If you want to go to a craft fair, even a craft fair, he'll go. Now that's real love. And he does what you want with a great attitude. He wants to be with you, so he doesn't care what you do. There's times I had to walk around craft stores with Sandy. It isn't about the craft store. I don't care. It's all the same stuff I've seen for years. It's about being with the blonde. That's all that matters. Now, there are times, and there should be, when he makes it clear he wants to do a certain activity. Okay, but most of the time, he's happy to do what you want to do. He's liked by your people. This is key. Your family and friends who know you very well like him. They think he's good for you, and he gets along with your people. He's fine with you spending time with your people, alone or with him. Do not date someone who's got a real problem with your family. Unless they're nuts, that's crazy. Don't date a guy like that. He's good with premarital counseling, has no problem with it, wide open to it. He is willing to go to premarital counseling with you. He wants the relationship to be strong and healthy prior to marriage. He is in no rush to marry you. He isn't stalling. He just wants you two to be ready. That's leadership. He's willing to go through my book, Honey, We Need to Talk. I wrote this book really for premarital couples. It covers 10 essential areas. You go through it together, you'll know whether you should get married or break up. That's why I wrote it. He'll do it with you. No speed dating. You've heard of speed dating. Well, I strongly recommend slow dating. Take your time. Make sure you have a godly, solid, honest, and emotionally healthy person on your hands. Don't settle. Don't rush into a new relationship. Look for a person that fits the profile in this podcast, what I've just shared. And of course, you'll find this in my book, I Didn't Want a Divorce, Now What? I'm telling you, that person's out there. If God wants you to get remarried, and he probably does, if you have the desire, he'll lead you to that person. Remember my website, davideclarkephd.com. That's Clarke with an E. davideclarkephd.com has all my resources for marriage in crisis and for divorce recovery and for personal emotional healing. You name the topic, I've got a book for it. In my next podcast, I tackle this topic. When one dating partner or both won't commit to marriage. I see this all the time. We got two people. Maybe they're living together, which they shouldn't, or they're not, but they can't commit. Or one partner wants to get married and the other doesn't. I'll handle that in my next podcast. Until then, Dr. David E. Clarke, PhD, signing off.